Hello everyone, I hope you're all doing great. So I had been trading and researching Bitcoins and cryptocurrencies for a while now, so a friend of mine recently asked me to help him get started. So I thought to myself, instead of just helping out my friend, why don't I take this advantage to help out as many people as possible? So I created a presentation. I hope you like it and I hope it's able to help you out. So let's get started. So first thing is, before you invest into anything, first you should know what you're investing into. So what I mean by that is that what you're investing into, is it basically something that is hyped up, or does it actually have some real life value to it, right? If you're investing into something based on hype, there's a very good chance that you'll lose a lot of money out of it. If you're investing into something which is based on value, there's a very good chance that you'll be making money on it, or at least you can hold on to assets which does not depreciate due to inflation. For example, the US dollar actually depreciates in value due to inflation every year, right? So to answer the question, first I'll go a little over the technology behind Bitcoin, and then I'll go about and then I'll explain a little bit of the misconceptions that people have about Bitcoin. So actually, before we continue, let me actually show you a chart, what I mean by the hype versus value. So if you look at this chart over here, you can see that something that is being hyped up, it's slowly increasing in price, right? To a point where it's drastically increases in its price a lot, right? Its price drastically increases. And there's a lot of hype around here, right? So this is around here is where a lot of people are going to start investing into this asset or this thing. And then what eventually happens is that people realize this doesn't have any real life value. It was just something very hyped up, and what happens eventually? The price tanks and a lot of people lose their money, right? So let's get back to the presentation. So does Bitcoin have real life value? So what is Bitcoin? So when I first actually heard about Bitcoin, it was actually a friend that told me about it. It didn't really make sense to me. I mean, digital currency, that kind of doesn't make sense. Like, can't you just take the Bitcoin code and code yourself some Bitcoins? So if you can just code yourself some Bitcoins, how can that be a legit currency? That doesn't really make sense to me. So I started doing some research into it. So this is what I found out. So Bitcoin actually runs on a blockchain network. A blockchain is a decentralized peer-to-peer network with no central authority. Miners all around the world run the Bitcoin network, and information is sent from one peer to another over the blockchain network. All transactions and information is recorded on the blockchain network. So for example, if I was to buy 0.5 Bitcoins, that transaction history is recorded on the network, and the network now knows that I own 0.5 Bitcoins. If I was to use the Bitcoin code to create 0.5 Bitcoins, that actually means nothing because it's not on the network. So that's just that 0.5 Bitcoin just exists to me. It really has no value. It really means nothing, right? Because it has to be on the network for it to mean anything. So basically, blockchain actually kind of makes it impossible to counterfeit Bitcoins. So only way that I can own some Bitcoins without legitimately buying it was if I was to hack the Bitcoin network and steal a whole lot of Bitcoins, right? So can I hack the Bitcoin network? The decentralized nature of blockchain has made it impossible for hackers to hack the Bitcoin network. Hackers spent a lot of money in the past trying to hack the Bitcoin network, and they were not successful, right? All peers on the network have to agree to changes that are made on the network. So if peers don't agree, then no matter what I do, I mean, I can't put any information on the blockchain network if one peer disagrees, right? For example, let's say over here I have a peer over here, and I do some transactions or I change something on this peer. This peer will send out information and data to all these other peers. If all these other peers agree to it, then that transaction or information will permanently be recorded on the Bitcoin network. If any of them disagree, then no matter what I do, it really doesn't matter. Nothing can get changed on the network. Same thing, I can have, like, for example, this peer send out information, right? And all these other peers have to agree to that information. Same thing, I can have this peer send out information to all these other peers, right? So every peer has to communicate with each other and has to agree. If something does not agree, then really it means nothing. It can't get recorded on the Bitcoin network, and yeah, that way I really can't hack the Bitcoin network or counterfeit any Bitcoins. So let's compare this to a non-blockchain company. So non-blockchain companies have have central servers where all information is kept. If more than one server is used, if a company uses more than one server, then information on one server is actually independent of another server. So companies use all sorts of firewalls to secure their data. Non-decentralization makes it vulnerable for one server to get hacked. For example, when HBO got hacked, hackers threatened to release the new season of Game of Thrones unless HBO paid the hackers a whole lot of money. I don't know, I don't remember the exact amount, but it was on the news, right? So, and we see incidents where companies, their information gets hacked or something, right? And these are generally non-blockchain companies. This is an issue you do not face with Bitcoin. So what are miners? Miners all around the world run the Bitcoin network. Anyone who decides to use ASICS hardware can carry out computations on the Bitcoin network and can be considered a miner. So this is analogous to when people were using tools to mine gold during the gold rush. ASICS hardware are used to carry out computations to create new blocks on the Bitcoin network. This is referred to as mining a block. So what is Bitcoin mining? So as new blocks are mined, miners get rewarded with Bitcoin that is found in the newly mined block. Miners are also rewarded with transaction fees for including transactions in the newly mined block. The more transactions there are, the more difficult it becomes to mine a new block. So more blocks are mined, there are also fewer Bitcoins that are found per block. So eventually what happens is most of the reward of mining is made up through transaction fees instead of the actual number of Bitcoins that is found in a block. So if Bitcoin mining is so rewarding, why doesn't everyone do it? So purchasing and running ASICS hardware can be very expensive and energy intensive. It also produces a lot of heat, so you would have to figure out ways to dissipate the heat, right? To use cooling systems to cool your mining rig, right? If you have it running in a room or in your house, you would have to use cooling systems to cool the area. It's actually very inconvenient to set up and run. So unless you're absolutely dedicated, most people are probably not going to be mining Bitcoins. So wouldn't mining Bitcoin cause inflation if there's always Bitcoin found in a newly mined block? Actually no, because the maximum number of Bitcoins that can ever be mined or that can ever exist is 21 million Bitcoins. Mining Bitcoin becomes more difficult as more transactions are recorded on the network. So when will all 21 million Bitcoins be mined? I don't know. It might be a while. I really can't tell. So even if all 21 million Bitcoins were mined, not all 21 million would be in circulation, since some are actually lost forever. Like for example, a friend of mine, he had some Bitcoins in a wallet, and he forgot the password to his wallet. His Bitcoins are actually gone forever now, but luckily for my friend, it wasn't a lot of Bitcoins. So in actually later videos, I'll go over details on how you can safely and securely store your Bitcoins and not have to go through the issue that my friend had to go through. The scarcity of Bitcoin makes it extremely valuable to some people. It's like digital gold to them. So you can see right now Bitcoin is worth $10,000, right? Around $10,000. So I mean, there's a reason for the huge price tag, right? When Bitcoin, actually, just to go off topic a little bit, when Bitcoin first came out, or like around the beginning, it was like around $10, right? Now it's $10,000. So did we all miss the boat? In my opinion, no, we did not. And I'll explain that in a later video why I don't believe we have missed the boat, and why I still believe there are lots of opportunities. So let's continue. So the type of network that Bitcoin runs on is, the type of blockchain network that Bitcoin runs on is blockchain 1.0. There's also blockchain 2.0 and blockchain 3.0, and there are different coins and tokens that run on each of these three different types of blockchains. I'll go over more details in the next video, what each of the blockchains are used for. So is Bitcoin actually valuable? In my opinion, yes. The reason is you cannot counterfeit Bitcoin. No one has been successful at hacking the Bitcoin network. It is very limited quantity, so you don't have to worry about inflation. If you were to save your money, it would actually be worth more in the future instead of like not being worth much due to inflation. More and more people are starting to adopt it as a currency, and more companies are actually starting to realize the power of blockchain. Now let's get into the misconceptions of Bitcoin. So Bitcoin is used for illegal activity. Actually, no, any currency can be used for illegal activity, and the fact is Bitcoin is actually least used for illegal activity. Also, Bitcoin is traceable, so any illegal activity done through Bitcoin can be traced. And to the best of my knowledge, the currency that is most used to buy and sell drugs is the US dollar. Another misconception that people have about cryptocurrencies is that not all cryptocurrencies are currencies, but the fact is not all cryptocurrencies are currencies. There are different coins and tokens on the blockchain that have different purpose. There are many legitimate companies which harness the power of blockchain for their business need, and companies on the blockchain use their token or coin for their services. For example, Power Ledger, a company, energy company, which is backed by Australian government, uses the Power token to buy and sell unused energy on the Power Ledger platform. So in my next video, I'll try to be a little bit more practical. I'll go over specific coins. I'll show you what the different coins are used for. I'll show you the different types of blockchains and what they are used for. I'll also show you where you can view all the different coins. And I'll give you my personal suggestion on what I believe that you should invest in. Just to go off topic a little bit, a friend of mine a couple months ago, he actually started investing in cryptocurrencies. I knew when he started, but I didn't know what he was investing in and what he was doing, and I just found out recently he actually lost a lot of money. So yeah, so it's a good idea that you get some suggestions from other people. So I will give you my personal suggestion on what I believe you should invest in, and so that you don't lose a whole lot of money like my friend did. In the video after the next video, I will go over different options that you have to purchase cryptocurrencies, the advantages and disadvantages of each of the different options there are, and what to do after buying your first cryptocurrency and how to securely and safely store them. Thank you for watching. If you liked my video, please hit the like button and subscribe, and I will come up with many great videos, and this will also let others know that the video was worth watching. This presentation actually took me many long hours to prepare, so I would really appreciate if you can share this with your friends and your family. And yeah, stay tuned. I will be coming up with many great videos. Just for my own personal safety, I do have to mention this disclaimer. I am not a financial advisor. Anything I say or do is my own personal opinion, and nothing here is financial advice in any way. You are responsible for what you decide to invest in. You have to do your own due diligence and do your own research. I will try to give you my best opinion, but at the end of the day, it's your decision. This video was created for educational purpose. Facts that are mentioned in the video are accurate to the best of my knowledge. Thank you again, and I will see you next time. Peace.